Mhm. I did a mistake this morning and I wrote the lyrics to Electric Avenue from Eddie Grant and replaced them with Ocean Avenue because our special guest, and it's been in my brain. I did not want to sing it. You do not want to hear that, my friends. This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Kennedy Copeland. Thank you for spending the time with us.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never get invited to go places.
Hey, you know what? I'm a homebody, so I may get invited, but I may not take up on all the invites that I should. Maybe I can turn that around a little bit, you know?
We'll see.
Hey, but if I'm not home, I don't get to talk to our fine talent that we get to see in ring all over in different promotions. And that's what we do. We like to bring on our talent that we see and get to know them a little bit, maybe pull the curtain back just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot of bit. Talk freely on the show, hang out like a couple of friends, talking some wrestling, talking Kennedi Copeland from Ocean Avenue. That. So my first question, because I'm not totally familiar. I've seen your work aplenty, but I don't know Kennedy Copeland a whole lot. So I'm going to go back a couple years, if I may.
Oh, God. These are my finest years.
No, this is good. This is good. I swear.
Is it?
I would not start off that way.
You can only go up from here, then.
I take my dad to all the shows. He's retired. So he comes out with me, and we have a lot of fun at all the wrestling events. And he came out to me with me to Bethany NEW show. And I happened to see you. You were there at the show. You were not on the card, but pre-event, I did happen to see you walking around and mingling. So I go, hey, Pop, I know her. I'm going to go say what's up. So I go, hey, Kennedy, I know you don't know me. And you're like, I remember seeing you. I know I don't know your name, but I remember seeing you. What's up? And we just started hanging out on the steps at the ring and chit-chatted for about 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, man, I vaguely remember that. That's wild.
Well, you deal with many people, my friend. So, I mean, to throw that out there. But that's when I really started kind of following you a little bit more because I was like, she was so cool to hang out and talk to. Let's see what she's doing. And I've stalked your. I followed your Facebook page.
Nice save.
You've got the Insta and you've got the Twitter and the whole 9 yards. So all of the medias are there for us, the fans, to see your stuff, which I appreciate. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. That's the first time I've gotten that.
Well, because without the medias, Miss Copeland, we don't get to follow you. We don't get to see what's going on in your matches or little clips or the cards or whatever the case may be. Because I've always said we, the fans, are very easy. We only need a little bit to latch on to something when it comes to wrestling. So if we see match cards or if we see a promo or if we see match clips from, hey, was that from last night or when was that from? We get a little buzz going about our talents in different promotions, maybe that we don't know or that we already do know. And we're like, hey, what's going on? When did they fight that night or whatever? So without that, we don't get that kind of connection, if you will, fan to wrestler.
Yeah, well, I'll have to keep that in mind then.
Yeah.
Next time I think I'm spamming everybody, I'll be like, no, this is what the people want.
Yeah. Yes, that's what the peeps want. You are correct. And I know it's hard to share everything and all sorts of old stuff. During the pandemic, it's been really weird to get a lot of media out there. And I get it. And you can only share so much older stuff and cool moves, if you will. But I do say, even if it's a little bit, it just keeps us engaged with the talent that's out there because it's a different era of wrestling fan as it is wrestling. So the fan kind of goes with the evolution of wrestling. So it's a different breed of wrestling fan. It's a mixed breed, if you will. But, we just need a little bit to latch on to, and we're waiting for the next video or issue. How about, is she going to follow up with that promo? Is it going to tell a story leading up to the match? I love promos. I think they're very vital.
Noted.
I've been yakking and yakking because I'm very excited to talk to Miss Copeland. So let's kind of start right there. And I know we're going to jump all over the place because I don't write a damn thing down. Promos, because not all talents are very comfortable doing promos. They have to work on them, or they maybe have a manager as a mouthpiece to utilize for that fact. How are you with promos as a talent?
You're really good at this asking questions thing. I've never been asked this. Oh God, I'm not ready. Admittedly, I don't think I'm very good at them. If you were to just hand me a microphone and be like, say something, I wouldn't. So I just like to have fun with it. I can't just stand there and do something. I can't just stay there and say something. I gotta do something. So, I don't know. I like to think of it more as a skit. I just feel like that's more fun that way.
Yeah, because you want to be comfortable doing promos because, again, it's just that little piece of the story pre-event for your upcoming match. So I think it starts that tale, if you will. That's what I get from it.
No, I would agree, and I mean, you got to make it fun. I will admit I can't. I have the attention span of a gnat. So if somebody's just standing in front of like a banner or something, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm sorry, I don't care. So that's why I try to be more creative with mine. Not saying they are, but hell, I had my dogs in one once, so you can't go wrong with that.
That's always a winner. That's always a winner.
And yeah, people were like, "Are you gonna bring them to the show?" I'm like, they don't do good with strangers. Sorry.
We were hoping we could see maybe the next solo darling in Magnum, if you will.
That's not gonna happen. I work with very difficult and hard to place dogs, so that's what I end up with.
We're definitely going to dive into some of that if we get to pull the curtain back just a little bit.
Oh, yes.
Now, within the wrestling world, there's so many pieces of the puzzle. We just spoke of promos, and that's definitely, I feel, a vital piece when you're telling these stories, okay? Without them, I mean, yeah, you could do your thing in the ring. You could do that all day long. But if you're not creative, just that little bit extra, when Emerald does a little bam there, if you just don't do a little bit something extra, my personal feelings, I just feel that it loses a little something because there's no engagement pre-match or pre-event,
Oh, I hear you.
Now, those creative juices, we're going to talk about character, and I'm sure Kennedy Copeland is not your birth certificate. I'm now,
I think it says on my Skype, doesn't it?
Hey, I guess what's on the interwebs is true. So, hey. Now, I'm going to take a wild, and this is like way reaching out of right field, left field, center field. I'm reaching for anything right here. Because the last name Copeland, I only know one other Copeland in all.
There's two, technically. I guess three, including me, but there's two, right?
Okay. You'll have to remind me of the second one. The big one would be Adam Copeland.
And there's Beth, too.
Better known as Edge. Who's the second one?
It's Beth.
Oh, well, okay. You threw me in.
Listen, I gotta give her some credit.
You got
I respect her too much to not.
No, you did definitely get me. Now there is three. Oh man, got caught on my own gimmick me right there. So does that last name derive? I've been waiting to ask you this all freaking day long. Does that derive from one Adam Copeland by any chance?
Yeah, there's a slim chance. I mean, yeah. It's not like he's the man of my dreams or anything. It's
Was
not
this
like I'm looking across. I have an Edge teddy bear over there.
hey, hey, what you have hanging on your walls or whatever, that's your business.
He's on my
Now,
shelf.
so obviously you've built a character around this name Kennedy Copeland. Please talk to us about the character because is it an extension of yourself? Because they say, if you get these extensions of yourself, and hey, that's really I'm not that far away from what you see in the ring. I just kind of amp it up for wrestling.
Mhm.
Or is Kennedy Copeland something that was started from scratch? Talk to us about your character.
Um, I would say it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Um, yes, the name derives from Edge because he's somebody that I've looked up to. Um, I've idolized the man. Kennedy actually derives from Miles Kennedy, who does Edge's theme, so it's all coming together here. And it's just kind of an ode to, the people that I really owe my life to. And it gives me a chance to be a different person,
Mhm.
and it gives me a chance to be a better person. You know, not that I don't think I'm a bad person, but it just gives you a chance to be somebody different, somebody that I, actually want to be and like, um, because I'm usually very shy and reserved and whatnot. So sometimes I take a step back and I'm like, I can't believe I can actually go out there and do all this stuff. And I actually found myself thinking the other day that, well, that's actually me that's doing that. So Kennedy, in a lot of ways, has, I'm still trying to figure her out, but she's been helping me figure myself out. And I said to myself the other day, like, I'm actually kind of starting to like myself. So, yeah. So we're
I,
just helping each other along.
hey, you have to like yourself to keep moving forward. I mean, without that, you can't move forward.
Yeah.
Um, does Kennedy Copeland as a character have a backstory? Because obviously, as you've just described, she's a little bit different than who you are maybe in real life. Is there a
Mhm.
backstory that you've derived for Kennedy Copeland?
I don't think. I guess I don't think there needs to be. Um, I mean, it just kind of happens organically. Um, I think her backstory is just doing her best, I mean, I was just telling somebody over the weekend that this is basically my third run at wrestling. Hopefully third one's the charm. But like when I first started training, I quit like right away, and then I went back, and then I went so hard that I burnt myself out, and it took a family tragedy for me to take a step back and just say, you know what, I need to remove myself completely from this in order to like it again. And here we are. Seems to be working. So yeah, I don't think she necessarily needs one. I think it just kind of happened.
I can accept that because you can't always plan, in wrestling because you want
Yeah, no, you can't.
no,
I've learned to just say screw it.
because you want the perfect gimmick, the perfect gear, the perfect
Mhm.
music, the perfect everything when you're trying to build a character. And
Yeah.
sometimes, like I do with the show, you just got to go off the cuff and hopefully you do it
Well,
well.
yeah, and I mean, I found that that is what is working for me is when I came back, I would remember what people would say to me and like, you need real gear. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to wear what's comfortable for me. Um, so and I guess this is where I'm not like myself in that Kennedy's not perfect at all. Whereas in my real life, try to be a perfectionist. I know it's not possible. Um, but when in wrestling, I give myself that that leeway where no, I don't have to be. I don't care.
uh, do you have to flip a switch? Because we talk a lot about that curtain, either behind the curtain in the locker room getting ready or standing in the gorilla position where you're ready to come out through the curtain. The music hits. Is there a light switch at any time, or is it in the car on the way to the event? Where does that hit for you?
Guess it really depends on the situation. There's times when I'm sitting in the car, taking deep breaths and whatnot. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go in there. Just this past weekend, I think it was like a little bit right before my match, and I just was like, I've done this before. I can do it again. So it's just, when it happens, it happens.
I want to touch on something real quick. Music is always part of people's lives. It always has been, and it always will be in some way or form. I always correlate wrestling and music. I was a musician on the stage for a bunch of years, having a lot of fun with the 80s rock and stuff, the Crew, the Rat, the White Snake, and all of that fun stuff. But if there's something that I do know for sure about one Ms. Copeland, she loves her some Alter Bridge, if you will.
Well, like I said, I love Miles Kennedy, so.
Now, I got to see Alter Bridge headlining at the Webster in Hartford, and the band opening on that specific evening was Godsmack, with the singer from Ugly Kid Joe, Whitfield Crane, singing as Another Animal. Okay, they were a totally different band. Sully was doing his own thing, and they put in a new singer. Look it up. There was one track that they had. That's all they toured on was, they played their own stuff, but they only really had one single. But look that up out of curiosity. They're called Another Animal. And for the life of me, the track escapes me, but it begins with a B, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll have to Google it.
So they open up, and then, again, great musicians. They did their thing. We weren't familiar with the material, so there was a lot of disinterest, if you will, but I was really into that track, so I wanted to dig what else they had. But, dude, woo, when Alter Bridge came out on stage, the entire world went on fire. Those boys do not joke around. And again, not to take anything away from Another Animal, those guys really came out with a whole different energy. The sound was a little bit different. Their tracks are way different than Another Animal. Another Animal was a little more on the down low. Alter Bridge is way up here and doing their thing. And not only that, that was the first time I got to see him live. And Miles Kennedy as a guitarist, holy shit, that man can rip a freaking guitar neck. That boy can go. But
he's multi-talented.
Yes, absolutely. And not only that, Mark Tremonti is actually complimented on him. Like, sometimes I've stepped back and be like, wait, you want me to do that? Kind of thing. So he's a very talented musician, one Miles Kennedy. But to cap off their night as their encore, both bands got together on stage and they did Whole Lotta Rosie to close the night.
Really?
From AC/DC, and it was kick-ass. It was a really good night, and I just wanted to tell you that story because I know you're a really big Alter Bridge and obviously Miles Kennedy fan, so I just wanted to share that story with you.
I'm glad you had a good experience. Obviously I'm a little biased, but every experience, I've seen them countless times. I can't remember how many times I've seen them, but I've seen them. I've seen Miles' solo act. I've seen Miles with Slash, so I've seen it all. But every time, they put everything into their performance, and just I don't know, the vibes, man. Like I've made I think I mentioned this before, where I'm normally shy and whatnot, but I've made friends at these concerts, and then I'll see them again at other ones, and I'm like, hey, I saw you in this city or whatever. And it's good vibes all around. It's a great fan base. It's an awesome experience each and every time.
Now, you were talking him and Slash. That's actually some of my most favorite material.
So underrated.
Yes.
More people need to know about it.
All of their, and not every single track from every album is always a hit, and you don't always get into all of them. but my goodness, Driving Rain, whenever that
Oh,
came out, and I'm still hooked to like an MFer to that track. I
yes. I was
absolutely
just
love
listening to it the
that track.
other day.
I cranked that some bitch up
Oh,
uh, and hit
sounds
the gas.
good.
Love that.
Well, I don't know if you should be doing
uh,
that.
uh, no, not hitting the gas, not that way. But yeah, I gotta say, I'm glad you used that word underrated. That material, very good stuff. Miles and
Mhm.
Slash, really top notch stuff.
Yes.
Ooh,
Some
I
of the
could talk.
most talented people. Oh, yeah, same. How much time do we have? Because
I could talk music and concerts forever. As much as I can talk wrestling, I can talk concerts on the flip
yeah.
side.
I could probably do the same with Alter Bridge alone.
uh, we may have that conversation. You never know because I know just a little bit. You might be able to give me some insight on one Alter Bridge.
Oh, I got plenty.
uh, now, Kennedy Copeland, as a wrestler, she seems rough and tumble, if you will.
I
What
like that.
would you consider your style? Because there's different styles of wrestlers.
Uh-huh.
You're this, you're that, or you may be a hybrid wrestler where you do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. What's Kennedy Copeland as a wrestler? What would you classify yourself as?
Um, I don't know what I would be classified as. I can tell you what I want to be, and I just, and this kind of, catches a lot of people off guard, but I want to be like Kurt Angle in the ring.
Mm.
Like, I want to be that intense. I want to be that technical. Like, that is what I strive for. Which just, I don't know. It seemed kind of out of place, but.
No, no, that's true. Damn true.
You're getting
uh,
it.
but that's a great goal to strive for because I'm gonna spin it back. Very recently, we saw some footage. I'm saying the fans, at least I did, because again, I follow your stuff there, and I saw you were getting, and I thought you died. To be honest with you, I seen you getting tossed around in that ring. There was some stuff going on in like hardcore style type stuff, if you
Mhm.
will. Miss Copeland, I really thought you died. I'm so glad you were with us right now. Uh,
That makes
uh,
one of us. I'm kidding.
no,
Ooh,
we
too dark.
love. Yeah, that's okay. We love the forms, the multi art forms of wrestling, and you kind of dabble, and I seen you dabble in that hardcore style. What makes not only and let's take the female out of it, okay? What makes a performer want to go from traditional matches? I've been in this match, or I've been in this match, and somebody says, "Hey, we're going to sign you up for a hardcore. What's good?" What the hell goes through your mind and signs on the dotted line for that?
Well, okay, so it's funny that you ask that because I feel like I just kind of stumbled into it and it was just a happy accident. And I mean, I stress happy because honestly, like it's some of the funnest stuff I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, so basically the premise is I was supposed to face somebody else. Unfortunately, they got hurt, and then I was told, "Hey, so and so is hurt. You're taking on G Raver instead." And I can't even tell you what I thought because know what to. I didn't know what to believe. So I was like, "Okay." And so everyone's just like, "Hope you enjoy taking tattoo needles to the head," and I'm like, "Okay." And so I just, I was like, radical acceptance, man. Like, I guess this is my life now. And so it was funny because I mean, I've just been hooked ever since. So I just basically I was told that I was going to be doing this, and I'm like, all right. So
Wow.
that's how I dabbled in hardcore.
Uh, that seems very interesting to me as a fan because when something like that gets dropped on your lap, like, hey, we're gonna do a tables match. Okay, I can go through a table, and in a table match, I mean, it ends with you going through. I'm not saying I would go through a table. Don't anybody think that they want to put. I did not say that. Do not take that out of
We're
context.
gonna edit this.
No, we are not. Um, uh, going through a table, because that's all you got to do is maybe get pushed from the apron through a table or something. And I'm not saying that it's easy and it's an easy night by any stretch.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's the end game is going through a table, I can sign up for that. Or I can try this specialty match or this specialty match. But when it comes to hardcore, that's a whole new different animal. It's a whole new different world. It's a whole different game. And you started that story basically with hope you like getting tattooed needles in your head. And my brain is like, F no. Absolutely not.
I don't know. I figured I was like, it can't be much worse. Like, I have tattoos, so I'm like, it can't be that bad. It was definitely a weird sensation.
I can't even imagine. Now, there's no way of prepping for this. It's just that.
No. Well, and I think that's the thing is that you know it's going to hurt. And so you're just like, why worry about it? Whereas, with wrestling, sometimes, can depend on the ring. Either the bump's going to feel great or you're going to be feeling it the next day. So I think with actual, and pardon me if, my phrasing is off, but with actual wrestling, there's almost like that element of uncertainty there. Whereas with hardcore, you're like, yeah, this is going to suck, but hey.
Have you done multiple hardcore matches?
I found myself in a couple now, yeah. And I hope to find myself in more. Putting that out there in the universe.
Yeah, she's ready to sign up, which totally just, again, take the female out. You guys that want to do hardcore stuff, it just flips my mind because wrestling alone is really hard on the body enough. Never mind adding weaponry, sharp weapon.
Inanimate objects.
Yes, in it, everything from carpet tack to the light tubes and all of these crazy, because there are grades of hardcore wrestling. I mean, there's death match and such, and there are differences from one to another. Again, different art forms of wrestling. But my God, my mind would just get so twisted, being like, man, I don't want a glass tube shoved up my cornhole because that's gonna. Because you get that shit.
I don't know what kind of matches you're watching.
Well, that's where I'm going. You never know where the glass is going to go because you've got to keep dropping on the mat time and time again. And
this is true.
Glass. Yeah, so you never know where this glass is going to end up. I'm just saying. My hat's off to all of you who step up your game that much more and get into that part of wrestling, because I just think it's a different mindset, to be honest with you. But you seem to take it in stride, which is out even more.
I've been saying lately that I'm just vibing, so I'm going with the flow.
I would rather hear that than being all stressed out over ridiculous stuff. So again, I applaud you for that. Take it in stride, be like, throw what you got at me. We're gonna run with it.
Yeah. If anything, it'll make for a really fun story to tell. When I show up to work on the weekday and everyone's like, "What's wrong with your face?" I guess just like that. What are you talking about?
Wait, what? Now, do you now that you've tasted that hardcore form of it, do you prefer either or? Like, hey man, I just want to do a lot more hardcore, and I mean, I'll take wrestling as it comes, but just give me a lot more hardcore. That would be really cool right now. Or is it just whatever comes at you? Where are you sitting with that?
I'm grateful for any opportunity, and I mean, I did have a set of tapings this past weekend, and I don't want to spoil too much, but one On Saturday, I had a match. On Sunday, I had another one, and I don't know if it started off as a joke or not, but somebody pitched a 2001 street fight, and I was like, you know what? Let's go with that.
Come on.
So if the opportunity presents itself, let's go.
An on-the-fly street fight, really?
It was fun. It was a grand old time.
If you just whisper where I can find this footage, just whisper it to me. I won't tell anybody, please.
Well, you'll find it eventually. It's going to be on IWTV.
Oh, I got you. Oh, you can't whisper that kind of information.
Yeah. It'll be worth the wait, though. I assure you.
I can't wait for that then. I absolutely cannot wait.
Honestly, neither can I.
Now, I'm going to dive into something that's coming up. This is a promotion that is new. They started back in March of 2020, right when the damn King COVID hit. King COVID, you see? No, never mind.
It was you, wasn't
it? When this whole thing started, this company was going to start up, but they had to kind of wait a little bit until September. I believe was the very first show of 2020, and I'm talking about Invictus Pro Wrestling. And I've never been. There's been a couple shows now, if I'm not mistaken, and they have just crowned their very first social media champion, Big Game Leroy Green. Green. But my whole point is they have an event coming up in April. It's late April, around the 24th. Is that correct?
Yep. Trust me, I have it in my planner.
We had the owner, one Alex. He's gonna kill me. I say it wrong all the time, so I'll say it both ways. Aceta or Aceta. I always forget how it's said. So we had Alex on here for like an hour and a half and had a fine conversation. And yes, an hour and a half, and I still don't remember his damn last name.
There was a lot of information to process there.
Fine gentleman to have on. We spoke a lot about Invictus and such. And my point being is they've got an event coming up April 24th called In Bloom. And you are on that. But not only that, we were talking specialty matches just a little bit ago. You are in a ladder match with like 1, 2, 3. I don't know, like 6, 7, 8, 12.
7? I don't even know.
There's like 23 people on that picture. I don't know how many's on that.
And some of them have managers. I'm like, can I get one?
You're walking into a ladder match here, a multi-person ladder match. Have you ever been in anything like this?
No. I don't know. What? I don't know. I keep finding myself in these things. How do I get myself into this mess?
Wait, so you're scheduled for In Bloom April 24th. It's in New Jersey. I forget the exact town. But you're going into In Bloom in your very first ever ladder match?
Yeah. Another first for me, I guess.
Wow. This is going to be really interesting because let me add on just a little tidbit. Because I had a couple bucks in my PayPal, and I haven't been to any wrestling except for Test of Strength and a little bit of PAPW. Those are both in Connecticut, East Hartford and East Haven, respectively. And I've seen that Invictus is a 2-hour drive for me. And again, I've only been to a few shows over the course of this past year. Mm-hmm. So I purchased 2 tickets, one for me and one for Papa Kincaid. We're going to take the drive to Invictus, and I'm going to go check out some Invictus. Yeah, baby.
Heck yes.
I'm going to see me some Kennedi Copeland in her very first ever.
God. You're going to see some Kennedi Copeland dying.
This is going to be a hootenanny, if you will.
Is that what we're going to call it?
We're going to have a hootenanny. That's what we're going to that's what we're going to name the episode. We're going to have a hootenanny. How about that for a title?
Dig it.
Yeah. I like to name every episode different, so I think that's be a good episode. Good name for the episode. So back to Invictus. I'm getting all sorts of amped up. I apologize, and I get a yakking. How did you get hooked up with Invictus? Because if I'm not mistaken, this is not your debut. Is that correct?
No, it is. It is.
Oh, and it's your debut? Oh,
Right? I go big, I guess. I don't know.
bonus and bonus, man. That's awesome.
Oh God, no pressure now. Oh God,
How
just
did
hit
you
me. What am I doing?
get hooked up with Invictus? Because they're a very young company right now.
Yeah. Actually, I was fortunate that Alex had reached out to me. I was like, let's do this, and then I think I reached back out to him and I was like, hey, just curious as to what I was going to be doing. He's like, oh yeah, you're in the ladder match. I'm like, everyone's just so nonchalant, you know. Hey, you're in a ladder match. You're gonna be facing G Raver. I'm like, what?
Wow. Again, you just take it in stride. You move forward, and you're like,
You
hey,
know,
that's what they want to throw at me. That's what I'm doing.
if they see fit and if they believe in me, I'm gonna take it as a compliment then.
Do you get any of those creative juices in the back? Because there's conversations in the back of what's good and blah blah blah, and throughout the evening, do you get to get your creative juices and get your your ideas and what's going on in the evening?
I mean, this past weekend, I had some ideas and like I thought they were hysterical. And so it's kind of cool to see like when you pull it off and the reaction is positive. It's nice to see the payoff.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
You watch the footage back because some don't.
Um, I've been better at that lately. Probably because I'm just, I'm a little bit more confident in myself, so I will watch it back eventually. um, Maybe not. I had the chance to watch this the past match that I had. I had the chance to watch it back like right after, and I was like, no, because I actually liked it, so like let me enjoy this high before I watch it, and then I'm like, oh, it wasn't as good as I thought it was.
I, now it's very hard, especially when you're looking at your own work. Are you just kind of picking stuff up? Like, what are you doing, Kennedy? Wait, why did you do that, Kennedy? Or, oh wow, that was a good one, Kennedy. Or like, how are you doing this? Are you really just picking it really apart, or are you trying to just sit back and soak it in and be like, okay, once I watch it once through, then I'll be like, okay, I needed to do this and this instead of that. How do you do it?
Oh man, that's a really good question. I'm trying to like replay a match in my head right now to see like how I would react to it. I mean, I'm trying this new thing where I'm trying to not get too down on myself. So if there was a really sick move that I took, usually I'll kind of focus on that and be like, oh yeah, that was cool. And I'm willing to admit when I'm like, that sucked, never doing that again. There's some things that I'm not good at. You just gotta, like you've been saying, you just gotta take it in stride, and I mean, I own up to it. So
Absolutely.
it's very humbling. It's a very humbling experience.
Because it's not always about the cool moves that you can do in the ring. It's about taking and selling, if you will.
Honestly, yeah.
Those
Sometimes I'll watch something and be like, I can't believe I took that.
yeah. I've gotten requests from some of the wrestlers being like, hey man, can you make that a GIF? I go, dude, you just got your ass kicked. Yeah, but I looked awesome.
It looks so cool. Honestly, one of my favorite things to do, and I swear this is like half the reason I still wrestle, is just so I can send the clip to my dad and have him be like, you're gonna get hurt one day, or like, I wish you'd stop wrestling guys. I just get such a kick out of it.
So you send the footage to rib the old dad? Is that what you do?
Yeah. I'm like, yo, check out your little girl.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Now I don't get caught up in drama, left, right, center, behind the scenes, any of that crap. I stay to myself when it's that stuff, because that's not where I belong, is behind the curtain. But there has been, and I'm just going to put it out right now, very recently, there's been some buzz about intergender wrestling having a little kind of weird stigma on it, right this second. To be honest with you, it's been something fresh, and I wanted to speak to you and get your opinion on this. It's in a different state. I'm from Connecticut. And you're from New Jersey or
New York.
New
It's
York?
funny how many lately a lot of people are like, "You're from New Jersey, right?" And I'm like, I might as well be. I'm there pretty much every other weekend now. Like,
Yeah, well, that's what I correlate is where you've been wrestling and where
yeah. The New Jersey scene has just been hopping. So
right along too, might I say, and they've been doing it right along. But yeah, this topic is in a different state. And it started a little buzz this morning on the old book, the face page, if you will.
Oh gosh, nothing but trouble.
and again, I don't get into all of that. I have seen some of the comments and some of the threads from a distance, and someone's not liking the intergender very much at said promotion, and it's kind of started a little weird buzz this morning.
Okay, now I want you to name names. I want the tea. This is called stirring the pot. Let's stir the pot.
This is called stirring the pot. I'm only supposed to stir the pot with the bad guys, not with the good guys.
I could be a bad guy if you need me to. I'll take the fall.
What we do is we dig at the heels and we lift the baby faces. That's what
Okay. I'm getting it.
Stirring the pot is kind of formed from because I always jazz up the heels at the shows. That's how.
Oh yeah, I know. I've seen your clips. I've heard them.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for seeing them and wanting to come on. But yeah, a weird little buzz going on. And what are your thoughts? Because you have wrestled many intergender. I don't feel I have an issue with it at all. And it's not about elevating said female's performance or career. It's just wrestler against wrestler. Because when the ladies are coming up, it's not like the schools have a freaking class of ladies along with said lady who's coming in.
Right.
It's usually filled with men, with one or maybe two women at the time. So what is your feeling about intergender wrestling at this point? Because again, all of this evolution of wrestling.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess I should have more of an opinion on it, if that makes sense. To me, I don't care. I don't care what those people think. So if they don't like intergender wrestling, their loss. And I think it's just because it's so ingrained in me. Like I grew up with a lot of brothers and sisters. I was closest in age to the brothers, so I grew up around them mostly. And then I was the only girl at training. I do jujitsu, and you're partnered up with whoever you're partnered up with. So to me, I've been fortunate that my entire life, I have been fortunate enough to be seen as sort of an equal. So, and I know that's not how the world works. So I feel as though I should have more of a stance on it, but at the same time, you can't always change people's minds. So I don't care what they think. I know I should, and I know I should prove them wrong. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste my time doing something for them, in a sense. I'm not going to waste my time, trying to, oh, they don't like this. Well, I'm going to do it because of that. Like, no, I'm doing this because I like it. I'm doing it for me. So
I for one, never once have I ever, even when it kind of started in that transition of the evolution of wrestling, when intergender wrestling first started, I'm like, this is cool shit. I'm down with this. I did not mind this one bit. We got to see a little bit of different flavor going on. And I know it's supposed to be looked as two athletes, not a man and a woman going against each other, but it's a man and a woman going against each other.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I definitely, because I grew up with, like, one of my earliest memories of wrestling is, like, Sable power bombing a dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, on one hand, it's like, oh, cool, look at this chick doing that. And then that became my norm. So I'm like, yeah, if she can do it, anyone can. Especially if she can do it, anyone can.
Yeah.
Not knocking Sable, I like her.
Hey, she won a hell of a bikini contest back in the day. So I mean,
you know what? And I'm actually one of the few people that I think there is room for that in wrestling, as long as there is variety. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie, like, some of those bra and panty matches, super fun. But I also enjoy actual women's wrestling. So
what a flip of the switch though. Going, because I've talked about this on the show. You've gone bras and panties and that kind of stuff, or evening gown matches. Then you've got your women's champion, but they didn't call her women's champion. They called her a Divas champion, and she was wearing a butterfly for a title. Then you get this whole women's evolution thing where now it's women and wrestling. They've kind of found like that good spot for women now.
Yeah. I think it was always there. I mean, I remember back in like 2006, 2007, that would be like the only reason I would tune in, was for like Mickey James and Melina and Beth Phoenix. It was always there.
Right. It was just the way she gave it to you, you know?
Right. I mean, I guess it's all about perspective.
Yeah. I didn't want to see our champion with a butterfly belt. I mean, come on.
Oh, I agree. And that's the thing, is when they switched over to that belt, I was like, because I grew up wanting to be women's champion and all that, and then they switched over to that, and I was like, I don't want to work hard for that. Why would I? Exactly. Now I just want to have fun. So the tights.
And you're looking at the juggernaut though of wrestling, and you're seeing this belt as a young woman growing up, and you're like,
and suddenly you're like, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah, it's like, it's so weird, because you're looking at this and you're like, wait a minute, that's the big prize. That's what they're giving. That's what they give. I'm
good. It's been a roller coaster.
I want to spin back to a debut you just had not that long ago at Shut Up and Wrestle 7 at Kevin Landry's at Holyoke, Massachusetts. They do free shows. Previous to the virus, we were up to number 6. That place was starting to really pack up, and you see how big that room is.
Yeah.
The fans were really starting to catch on. They were up to number 6. And then the pandemic happened, so they finally brought us number 7 with very limited seating and all of that good stuff, the temperatures and the sanitizers,
masks,
and all of that. And not only that, we got to see debuts, because I've gone to every one of them except for the very first one. I could not make it. But we got to see the debuts of people that we have never seen at Kevin Landry's Combine Shut Up and Wrestle, like the likes of Kennedi Copeland going against Big Juicy, our fave.
Yes.
Please talk to us about that match, because it looked like you guys had some fun. And not only that, and I know there's a thing called kayfabe. I get that. Whatever. Wrestling is what wrestling is. What wrestling is. But in the back, you took some freaking cute ass pictures. I gotta say, you look like you had some fun though, and that's what you're supposed to be. Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better. I'm glad that's how it came across, because, like I said, now that's what my goal is just to have fun. And if I'm not having fun, then what am I doing? So yeah, it was definitely, I'm glad I went out that night.
Big personality Juicy's got.
Oh God, I wish some of it rubbed off onto me. I was hoping when I drank the Juicy Fuel that like it would give me one, but still waiting for it to kick in. But no, she's a lovely person. I can't say enough good things about her.
We love Big Juicy. We've seen her since day one when she wasn't even Big Juicy. Uh, yeah, so shh, we won't tell you what that is. Um,
Oh, trust me, I know all about her. Yes. But no, we stand Big Juicy in this house.
yeah. That's the first time she ever did the old juice fuel thing going on right there. Was with you at Kevin Landry's.
Was it? I thought she said she
Yeah.
did it before.
Wait. I apologize.
She'd done it at Chaotic, I believe.
Yeah, Basic Becca. Yes, I apologize. Yes.
It was good.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. I got to the back and I was like, I actually want to finish that. I was like, where did it
go? So you've debuted a promotion that does these smaller events. I love the intimate stuff. That's my niche, if you will. I dig that stuff. Now, during with what we've got going on, as a wrestler, is it in the back of your mind like, hey, I do want to get out there and work, but we've got this thing going on. Are you always having it in the back of your mind, or are you just like, you know what? We've been through enough shit already. I do want to get some work, and I know everybody's doing it the safe way, if you will, with the temperatures and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
You didn't mind picking up this date and coming out and debuting?
I mean, it's definitely, there's definitely like a inner turmoil sometimes. When you're like, I understand there's a pandemic going on. I do feel as though I am doing my best to do my part. I am a hermit. Like I don't go out, I'm blessed that I get to work with animals. So I don't even really work with people. So I feel as though, I'm doing what I can in order to, keep everybody in the locker room safe. I can't tell you how many COVID tests I've had and how many Q-tips I've shoved up my nose and whatnot. I even, like jujitsu is still going on, but I have had to, like if I go out of state, I won't go to class for the next couple weeks just so I don't infect like my teammates, and then I won't go to if I go to class, I'll make sure it's not when I have a show coming up, because I don't want if my teammate gives me something, I don't want to give it to somebody in wrestling. So there is some conflict going on inside, but I mostly and I'm not trying to justify what I'm doing, but I've been doing tapings, and everybody there kind of understands the risks, even though there's no fans, we are still amongst our peers and whatnot. But I believe we do our due diligence with testing and whatnot. So, yeah, no, I'm just doing what I can.
Because you can't, if you're too worried, then you don't do like anything. You kind of stay bottled up. But if you're too kind of loose, then it's like,
right,
what the hell's that guy doing over there?
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna, I don't know, I don't want to say I'm pro mask, like just wear your freaking mask, you know what I mean? So I don't think I'm too loose. That sounds really funny. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's been difficult for all of us, not just in terms of the fact that there's a global pandemic going on, but there's also that inner struggle. So
now you spoke of animals that you work with. Please, could you share with us what you do, please? Pretty.
Yeah. So I'm actually a behavior specialist at the local humane society. That's not all I do. I do a little bit of everything, from cleaning the kennels to, as kind of morbid as this is, I've been training to become a certified euthanasia technician. which is really ironic considering growing up, everyone's like, you love animals, you should be a vet. And I'm like, I don't want to put them down. Hi, speaking of, oh, excuse you.
Hey,
Hello.
what up?
This is one of the dogs that I got from the Humane Society. And full disclosure, we are not a kill shelter. Oh, I'm sorry, he's huffing at me now. We are not a kill shelter. We determine quality of life, so we will only euthanize in the event that it is an medical emergency. We do also offer low-cost euthanasia to the public if they are low income. It's not just, we don't operate by you have 2 months to get adopted or, they stay as long as they need to. So I think that was the only way I would be okay with learning how euthanasia works and everything, because I don't think I could bring myself to do it to a perfectly, healthy animal. So yeah, do a little bit of everything.
Well, it's gotta,
didn't expect to hit you with that much. My apologies.
no. It's got to be a day not working with all humans throughout the day. It's got to be something maybe refreshing. But then, do you bring it home? Do you bring the dogs with you? Do you bring them, like, not physically, just mentally? Do you bring them home with you?
Well, yeah. I mean, so, and it's funny because, like I said, at tapings this past weekend, I was in, I have to think about it, Pennsylvania, and then I drove 5 hours yesterday, and then today I had to work a full day. So it's just like one mindset to the other, and I had a full day. I can tell you that I took out some animals, are kind of difficult to get out of their kennels. It's loud, it's scary, so they're going to react, poorly. I'm the one that has to go in and get them, be like, come on, no, we're going to go out and go for a walk. I don't care if you want to try and bite me. So I do that. And then I also, I'm doing adoption counseling. So it's just like, you have to switch gears like that. And like right now I'm like, oh, I didn't get to, work with this one dog or this other one. So I'm going to go in tomorrow and make sure I give them extra time to decompress and all that. So yeah, they're always with me.
Have you had to do any jujitsu to calm these crazy animals down? Like maybe give them a triangle or anything? Have you had to do?
No, but this is awful. No, but I mean, definitely, wrestling and jujitsu and everything has definitely helped me. You've seen me. I'm not a very big girl, but it has helped a little bit with my strength in terms of, we do have to do restraint on them to get their vaccines in and whatnot. And, not every dog's going to like having a shot. So you have to like restrain them a certain way. So it's helped with that. I'll give you that.
Trying to balance jujitsu and wrestling. Do you have screws loose, my friend? How are you able? How are you able to do these things? Like, and your shoot job, if you will.
There's not. They are all very fulfilling for me. So I try to make sure that I set aside enough time for each and every one of them. Sometimes it doesn't always happen. There'll be days when, and especially now in the days of COVID, I can't just like show up to a practice. You have to sign up so that, there's a limit. There's like a maximum capacity that they can have. So, I have to book a class on like an app, and there's some days I'll book a class, but then I'll just be so exhausted or so sore. And I know that shouldn't be an excuse. My coach would be so mad at me. But then I have to hit like the cancel button on the app. So like he sees it. Like I say I'm going to go, and then I'm like, never mind. And, I'll walk in, he'll be like, where have you been? And I'll be like, getting dropped on my head. And he's like, I don't care. Get out there. So, I do my best to balance everything.
Do you find, because you're doing jujitsu, again, that's a very different animal than wrestling is altogether. Do you find that you maybe utilizing it or whatever, or maybe giving a little bit of something too much torque or something like that? Do you have to pull back because again,
Yes.
you're giving so much at jujitsu, and
Yes.
you might have to pull it back just a smidge, yeah?
I have been told to loosen up. Um, it's hard. Yeah. Just this past weekend, I was like, I don't know how to do XYZ because I do it this way. But I mean, I'm not mad at it. It's kind of a fun challenge almost, you know. But for sure.
So where does Kennedy Copeland go from here? Because I have found that some wrestlers are comfortable with what they're doing. They have their life, they have their jobs or family, but some have already set. I became a wrestler to be on that big platform of WWE, but now there's so many different platforms and choices that you can make with the AEW, especially like AEW Dark, going crazy right now.
Right. I've seen so many people I know that are on that, and
It's
it's
amazing.
genuinely amazing to see. Yeah.
It is. So where does Kennedy Copeland sit in her wrestling career? Because you have a lot going on. Are you looking to get to that big old juggernaut of WWE, or what's up with you?
You know, like I said before, growing up, that was the end goal. Over time, priorities change. I've been learning to kind of accept that and kind of reason with my inner child, like, hey, I do love my day job. I love my 9 to 5 job. And I'm blessed that I have that. So I personally don't think that, you know, and I've had people ask me, like, well, if WWE ever asked you to sign, I would give it a shot, but I don't know how I feel about, like, working out all day and, you know, not having time to invest in animal welfare and whatnot. So, you know, that maybe has kind of fallen to the wayside. And my main goal is to just have fun with it. That's not to say, though, that if, like, an opportunity to do AEW Dark ever came along, like, I would snatch that up in a hot second. And weirdly, it's mostly just to kind of say to my, like, to show my dad, like, hey, look, I made it on TV, because I think that would just be really cool.
Yeah, especially after ribbing them for so many years, I think.
Right? Right? It's the least I could do. Oh, it was all birthday, wasn't it? But, you know, I'm somebody that if it happens, cool. If it doesn't, yeah, well, so we'll see.
Hey, you never know what the future will bring in wrestling. From day to day, you just never know what wrestling will bring you. I say it time and time again. I don't know what it is about wrestling. It always has.
So weird.
It is. It
I
is.
think that's why we love it so much.
Maybe. I don't know. It has such a mystique to it. And you know, everybody thinks they know. Well, not everybody. Let me rephrase that. The wrestling fans of nowadays, they think they know it all, if you will. They know
I don't even know it.
They know the behind the scenes. They know what Vince and Triple H are thinking. I don't know if you knew that or not. But we have
I guess I do now. I don't
know. We have a different breed of wrestling fan that's still mixed with the wrestling fan that came up in the Attitude Era, along mixed up with the older generation fan as myself, with the Von Erichs and the Freebirds and the Don Moroccos and the Superflies and all of that. So you have all of these eras of fans all bound into one fan base right now. And I find it very interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, no. It's definitely an interesting clash of styles.
My question is, because you are a female competitor, wrestling fans can be very uplifting, and on the flip side, very nasty, if you will. Have you had at shows specifically, maybe guys, maybe wanting to grab at you, or because I've heard of guys, girls like trying to snip off their hair and smacking their asses and stuff like that. Have you had any weird happenings at an event like with the male fan?
Knock on wood, no. And I think it's because people think I'm like 12 years old. So they're like, I'm not going to do that. I mean, I've had people tell me to like eat a cheeseburger and I'm like, okay, like you're paying. I don't, you know what I mean? So I guess I've been lucky in that sense that I haven't had that. I have been called, when I first started, I was called Hornswoggle. Like Hornswoggle, but Hornswoggle, literally only because I was a girl. I was like, what the fuck? So I mean,
I am so sorry. That is funny.
I was like 18, and I was like, what?
Oh my god! I would never say such nasty things. But that's
I can look at it and laugh, but I'm just like, what a bunch of idiots! Like, what are you doing?
I would call him such an asshole on the way home, but then think back and be like, that was pretty damn funny.
I hate to admit it was like a little clever, but I was like, I was a manager, and I was just like, I'm just standing here. Like, what do you mean? Oh god, that's why I quit the first time around. I was like, I can't handle this toxicity.
Yeah, like what the F did I do?
Right, I'm just happy to be here, man.
Hey, you want to work tonight? Hell yeah! Beep, 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 beep. What? Horse?
Whatever. At least it was clever.
Freaking fit. Yeah, it is. I just gotta give it to him just a little bit.
That's all they're getting.
Yeah. When Kennedi Copeland, you said this is your third run in wrestling, if you will. Has Kennedi Copeland always been your character? Or did you start off something very differently? Maybe like, I don't know, Kane did as a Christmas creature when he was wrapped up like a candy cane. He looked like a jackass. Sorry, Kane, don't hurt me.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned Kane. He was like literally like the first wrestler I ever saw. Yeah, that's I was like, what the hell? What's that?
Did you ever see him as the Christmas creature?
No, it was like his debut.
Do yourself a favor. Look up Kane Christmas Creature. You'll see the video. It's really old school footage. You are going to laugh your ass off. That was basically, if I'm not mistaken, his first gimmick. You're going to love this.
I'm always ready for a good laugh.
Oh, type that up. So was Kennedi Copeland your original character?
Yeah, that's always been the name. No, that's a lie. Oh my God. My apologies. My first show ever, I was like, oh my God. The first show I ever did, which was like the one that I was like, okay, one and done, I'm good. I was like something Blackheart, which made no sense. Because I was like playing an Irish character, but I had like a native, I don't know. Whoever it was, they're dead and gone. But for the most part, Kennedi Copeland is always, she's always been around. Oh God, my battery's dying. Oh no.
Oh, maybe we should, I could talk to you all night long.
As I could too, but
yeah,
I forgot to charge my phone today.
And I didn't mean to take up so much of your time, and I do.
No, not at all.
We get carried away talking wrestling, you know?
Oh, it's so easy to.
It is. Please, where can we find you on the old social media so the people that don't know you can find you, and the people that do know you, if they didn't know your handles, we can learn them.
All right. Well, I have a Facebook, but like I just post like memes on it, so that's probably not important. I'm sure you've seen them. My Instagram is the Kennedi Copeland. And then Twitter, every freaking handle that I wanted was taken. So I was like, all right, let's get creative. So it's just Kennedi Copeland. But wherever there should be an E, there's a 3.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why people are like, I can never find you on Twitter. I'm like, I know. I didn't make it easy.
Wait up. Do you have a YouTube to where we can watch footage, or is it just on your medias?
It's mostly on the medias. And you can find. I'll be having some stuff coming up on the IWTVs, so
Yes. Yeah.
keep your eyes peeled.
Keep your eyes open for that stuff. We're gonna see, and I know she's got other stuff going on, but I'm just gonna pull out that Jenga piece and say April 24th, Invictus Pro Wrestling, in Bloom. That's gonna be fun. I cannot wait to see. Not only my first Invictus.
It's gonna be your debut too. Debut
Yes.
days.
And she's in a freaking multi-man ladder match. Look at her. She's like, what the hell did I get myself into? That's going to be a hootenanny, if you will. That's going to be a good time.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
I don't want to use the line, if you die, you die. Please, don't die. Don't die.
Oh, I use that line. I always like, if I die, I die.
This has been a fine chit chat with one Kennedi Copeland. I thank you so much for your time opening up and talking to us, the fans, getting to learn about you. And I know I didn't ask all the stuff I wanted to. Maybe in the future.
Oh God, yeah, we'll do this again, and I'll be sure to charge my phone that day.
Yeah.
It only went up to like 70%, and then it like dies so quickly. So my apologies.
No, you didn't realize how much I could bullshit. So that's on me. That's on me.
Listen, some of it's on me too. We did go off on a tangent about Alter Bridge, so
I have to stick that in there. I definitely had to stick that.
I appreciate it.
Oh man, this has been really good times. We had a fine hour, and wow, an hour 10 plus. Yes, wow. I thought she was gonna hang up after 10 minutes, so this is cool. This is Sir in the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Kennedi Copeland. Thank you so much for spending the time with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Hope to do it again soon.